Hello, my dear friends. You're welcome on our channel. In this video, we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous hours. We have a lot of very interesting updates too. So let's start. There are power outages in Sumy and Sumy district after Russian strikes on critical infrastructure. Russian forces have conducted multiple strikes targeting critical energy infrastructure in Sumy and across eastern Ukraine. These attacks, including missile and drone strikes, have severely damaged power distribution facilities, causing widespread power outages in Sumy, Kharkiv, Poltava, Dnipropetrovsk, and several other regions. In Sumy, emergency power outage schedules have been implemented affecting various tiers of consumers, disrupting electricity supply to homes and businesses. The Russian attacks also damaged thermal power plants and gas infrastructure, exacerbating the energy crisis as winter approaches. Ukrainian energy operators and government agencies are working to restore power while urging residents to conserve energy. The ongoing strikes are part of an intensified campaign by Russia to disable Ukraine's energy networks, aiming to create hardship and chaos. The Ukrainian government characterizes these strikes as acts of terrorism, but they remain committed to rebuilding and restoring supplies despite repeated assaults. Another explosion was reported in Pavlohrad. Ballistic missile strikes. An explosion was reported in Pavlohrad due to Russian ballistic missile strikes on the 14th of October 2025. These strikes targeted infrastructure in Pavlohrad and several districts of the Dnipropetrovsk region, causing significant damage and casualties. The missile attacks resulted in power outages affecting Pavlohrad and nearby areas, with ongoing efforts to restore electricity. This attack is part of a broader Russian missile campaign against Ukraine's energy and critical infrastructure, leading to disruption and damage in multiple regions, including Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhzhia, and others. At Kostiantynivka direction, clashes yesterday near Kostiantynivka, Berostok, and near Sherbanivka, Pleshiivka, Toretsk, Rusin Yar, and Poltavka, Pleshia, General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. Clashes in the Kostiantynivka direction involved fighting near Kostiantynivka, Berostok, Sherbanivka, Pleskiivka, Toretsk, Rusin Yar, and Poltavka, according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ukrainian forces faced repeated attacks from Russian troops in these locations, with the enemy advancing from the south past Toretsk and approaching Kostiantynivka. Fierce fighting continued as Ukrainian defenders worked to repel enemy advances from multiple directions to hold the area. The situation remains tense, with ongoing engagements as Russia attempts to press forward around Kostiantynivka. At South Slobozhansky, Kharkiv, direction clashes yesterday near Vovchansk, Kamyanka, Zapadne, and Kutkivka, also towards Kolodyazne and Bolohivka, General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. On the South Slobozhansky, Kharkiv direction, clashes occurred near Vovchansk, Kamyanka, Zapadne, and Kutkivka, with fighting also reported towards Kolodyazne and Bolohivka, according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Russian troops launched numerous attacks in this sector, trying to advance and put pressure on Ukrainian defensive lines. Ukrainian forces conducted 31 combat engagements in these areas, successfully repelling many attacks, notably defending positions around Vovchansky, Kuturi, Kamyanka, Zapadne, and Kutkivka. Despite persistent enemy attempts, Ukrainian defenders are holding ground while counterattacking at key points to prevent breakthroughs. At Orikhiv direction, clashes yesterday near Stepov Plavny and Stepnohirsk, General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine reports. In the Orikhiv direction, Russian forces launched 5 attacks near Stepov, Plavny, and Stepnohirsk, according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. These attacks were unsuccessful as Ukrainian defenders repelled the enemy's attempts to advance. In addition, Russian aviation carried out strikes near the settlement of Magdalenivka in the Orikhiv sector. The situation in this area remains tense, with ongoing combat and efforts by Ukrainian forces to hold their positions against persistent enemy offensives. Aviation launching glide bombs towards Zelenodolsk, near Kryvyi Rih. Russian aviation has been launching glide bombs toward Zelenodolsk near Kryvyi Rih as part of ongoing missile and drone attacks in Ukraine. These glide bomb strikes are part of Russia's broader aerial campaign targeting key Ukrainian cities and infrastructure, including energy facilities and civilian areas. Ukrainian officials have reported damage and casualties from such attacks, highlighting the urgent need for enhanced air defense systems to protect against precision aerial weapons like glide bombs and drones. Explosion was reported in Pavlohrad. On the night of October 14 to 15, the city of Pavlohrad in the Dnipropetrovsk region of Ukraine was struck by Russian drone and missile attacks as part of a large-scale assault on the area. Ukrainian air defenses shot down 37 Russian drones during the attacks, but several Shahed drones still hit their targets, causing fires and significant damage to energy infrastructure, industrial facilities, and transport assets in Pavlohrad and neighboring communities like Kamyansky and the Slavhorod Hromada. One 9-year-old man was injured and hospitalized in moderate condition due to the strikes. Power outages were reported in Pavlohrad following the damage to critical infrastructure. Pavlohrad has become a key humanitarian aid hub for evacuees from nearby front lines, making these attacks particularly impactful on both civilian life and logistics. The assaults form part of Russia's persistent campaign of aerial bombardments targeting Ukrainian cities with missiles, drones, and artillery to degrade Ukraine's ability to sustain defense and civilian resilience.